Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, we're going to be discussing what a complete and utter waste and failure 2021 was, what my takeaways were, what my goals for the upcoming year are, and a couple of other things, so go ahead and stick around. Okay, before I jump into my takeaways of the last year, I do want to cover something very briefly. I will cover it more in depth next week, but over the last couple of days, there have been some pretty high-profile suspensions on Twitch due to DMCA takedown requests, and because of that, I want to provide a refresher? I don't know how to pronounce that. On my stance on this, my advice, my non-legal expert advice on how to avoid this. Before I share this, I would recommend going and getting a pen and paper so you could write this down because this is really important. If you want to avoid legitimate DMCA and copyright takedown requests, all you have to do, ready? Do not use any copyrighted material. Problem solved. I'm done. That's the entire piece of advice, not legal advice. I'm not a copyright expert. I am not a legal expert. I am not a lawyer. As a content creator, my experience is if you want to avoid legitimate copyright takedown requests, do not use copyrighted material. You may be thinking, but what about fair use? What about the video games are copyright? Okay. Go ahead and do the fair use thing. Go fight Disney over fair use. Go fight Fox over fair use. I don't care. You can take whatever course of action you want. But if you want to avoid legitimate copyright takedown requests, the easy solution, don't use copyrighted material. I know. Crazy idea. All right, let's jump to the main topic, my takeaways of the last year, how I did on all of my goals. And instead of just saying, here's the goal, here's why I didn't hit it, blah, 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 I wanted to hopefully provide some more context and maybe more value and share my takeaways from the last year. The first and the most important one for me was the realization that social media isn't everything, it's not that important, and it would be good to try not to freak out over things that you don't have control over. The thing that made me realize this was being banned from YouTube. When I woke up, I saw an email saying, hey, we banned your account for whatever reason, and then I tried to log in. I couldn't log into my main account with the podcasted YouTube channel. I could have ripped my hair out, started crying and screaming and losing my mind. I just shrugged and said, okay, I guess this is reality now. And if that's the way that things ended up falling, if I did lose access to that account, so what? It's a YouTube account. It's not that important in the grand scheme of things. It's just a website. There will be different websites in the future. Life is much more than a social media platform or a following. So I came to that realization very quickly. I also realized I don't have much control over the situation. I will approach the situation calmly and try to handle it with as much grace as possible. And I just said, okay, I'll try to appeal it. That didn't work. Okay, I'll go to Twitter, see if I can find a way around it there. Okay. No reason to freak out and be a dick to everybody around you because the person that you speak to at customer service or something, chances are they're not responsible for it. It's some stupid algorithm that gets all cattywampus and gets a little overzealous. And that was a realization for me. Okay, if I were to get banned from every social media platform tomorrow, would it be a little bit of a bummer? Sure, because I've put in years and tens of thousands of dollars into building them up with all the gear I've bought to make videos, but so what? If it happens, it happens. And that was a great realization to have. Social media doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things and only really care about the stuff that you have control over. There's no reason to get furious and freak out and stressed out over something you don't have control over. Easier said than done, but that was a really important realization for me. The second takeaway was it's okay to not publish something if it is not done. There were a couple of times over the last year where I said, hey, I'm not quite done with this video. I'm probably going to miss the review this week. And for years, I had said, no, I have to get a video out now. I have to get it out. I need to hit this arbitrary schedule that I have set for myself. I need to do it. And this year I said, the video's not done. I'm not going to publish it. And the thought process there was, okay, well, people might be disappointed on Tuesday morning when there's not a video, but in a couple of days, they'll forget about it. But what will people not forget about? If you publish a video that sucks, that's going to be up forever, they'll remember that. They'll say, remember, I just had to edit because I guess I developed a stutter there. That was insane. Remember when Podcastage put out that review that was terrible and poorly done? I do. So instead of putting out that garbage, I'll just hold off on publishing that video until the video is ready. Now, I don't want you to misinterpret that as being an absolute perfectionist and never releasing anything because it will never be perfect. Don't go down that road. That is a deep, dark path, and you will never publish anything ever. You need to still be okay with good enough, but if a video is going to be completely half-assed, last week's video excluded from this, which was completely phoned in, but if it's going to be half-assed and live on your channel on the internet forever and be a poor representation of you and what you do, just hold off. People will be okay with it. That was a big realization for me. The next one, this is something that I'm still struggling with. The idea of pushing mass consumerism. Because a lot of tech channels and audio channels, it can be perceived as though the reason we do it is to push people to buy stuff that they don't need. And that is something that I sat down and I've thought through many times over the last year because that's not something that I want to do. Because I think that is contributing to the abuse of people because a lot of stuff is manufactured in factories that have poor working conditions. They are not paid good wages. They are treated incredibly poorly. And I struggled with that idea and the idea of, oh, I'm making a video reviewing this. That might make people want to go out and buy it. And that's a bad thing. But then I had to come to the realization that reviewing stuff and putting out information is not directing people to go buy something, and it is an incredibly dangerous road to go down to take responsibility for every individual's response to something that you put out there. What I mean by that is you don't have control of how people will use the information that you publish, and I don't think you should be held responsible for people misusing the information that you put out there for their own justification. For example, I view my channel as more of a resource channel, not something where people will watch every single video and say, okay, I'm going to buy every microphone that he says he likes. I view it as an archive, a catalog of videos that people will say, okay, I'm looking for a ribbon microphone. Here's a list of all the ribbon microphones that people say are great. Let's look up reviews of them on the internet so I can hear them. And then they'll stumble across my videos. That's how I view it. If someone wants to use them for a different purpose, I have no control over that, and I don't think that as a creator, we ought to be responsible for people misusing the content that we put out to justify whatever behavior. And that's something that I really struggle with a lot because I do know that tech videos can be viewed and can very easily be used to justify overconsumption. Just, I need the new phone, I need the new phone, I need the new phone, I need the most up-to-date computer, because I fell into that trap 5 or 6 years ago where I was just thinking, I need the new Mac computer, I need the new phone every single year. And then I came to the realization, no, I don't. I'm still using a 4 or 5-year-old phone. It's working great. No need to upgrade. So if somebody does want to misuse that information, that's really not our fault unless we are actively trying to push that idea of overconsumption. And I still struggle with that quite a bit. I'll never completely overcome that. That was a diatribe. And the last thing here, this is going to sound very contrary to what I just said, It's okay to distract yourself and escape. What I mean there is, first off, it's okay to escape into a movie, into a book, into music. It's okay to shut off your phone, unplug from the internet. You don't need to be informed of everything all the time forever. We're just individuals. We don't need to know everything about everything. That is a ridiculous expectation, and it is very damaging and can have a very negative impact on our mental health. And this last year, I have not shut up about it. I escaped using Harry Potter, watching movies, playing Minecraft. I found every single escape that I could. And something else that I realized, and this is what I said goes counter to what I was saying. I have found that on occasion buying something does help me escape a little bit. Now, I am assuming when I say that when you're buying something, it's not going to cause any negative externalities. It's not going to make it difficult to pay bills. It's not going to put you into debt. If you get joy out of watches like me, I think it's okay to buy a watch if it brings you joy and helps you escape the existential dread that we have been forced into and been living in and bathing in for the last 2 years straight. I think that's okay. If you want a guitar and that guitar brings you joy and helps you escape while you pick it up every day and you just learn how to play a new song and that just brings you the most joy, go forward and kick butt. I think that is more than an okay justification to be a little bit frivolous with your expenditures, with what you're spending your money on. I think that's okay, especially over the last 2 years where it has been, I don't know if everybody feels as isolated as me because I've been locked inside for, Tuesday's going to legitimately be 666 days. Where the only time I leave is to go to the grocery store or to go for a walk outside by myself with a big old knife, so don't come up to me. Threatening people on the podcast. That's a good way to go forward, Bandrew. 2022. That's my new goal. Threaten people with violence on the podcast. I got a big old knife. Don't approach me. And I think that's okay. That's something that I had to come to terms with because I struggle with the idea of mass consumption or overconsumption, and then I find myself wanting to buy some luxury items and then realizing, I feel bad about this, but then realizing, well, I get joy out of it, so that should be fine. I'm not causing any harm to anybody. I'm not putting myself in a financial situation that is dangerous or damaging. I'm still saving for my future, still paying all of my bills, paying my health insurance. Why would it be wrong to enjoy my hard work? And I think everybody right now could benefit from just taking a step back and saying, okay, I need an escape. I'm going to go buy that nice leather-bound Hobbit book because why not? I love The Hobbit and it's a world I want to live in. I think that's perfectly fun. Okay. I know contrary ideas, just hypocritical right in my takeaways. That was a lot longer than I was expecting. Let's talk about what my goals for 2021 were. Then I'll share how I failed and what I did accomplish and all of that. First up, a lot of these are just numbers. I had the goal of publishing 52 videos on Podcastage, 50 episodes of this podcast, the Bandrew Says podcast, 26 videos on my watch channel, Watchcastage, 12 videos on Geeks Rising, 12 videos on Bandrew Scott, and 12 videos on the Bandrew Plays channel. Of the Podcastage videos, I did break it down a little bit. I wanted to do 4 tube mics, 4 interfaces, 4 educational videos, 4 Versus series, and 2 preamp reviews. Now, as far as the Versus series, I did not do any of those, and the reason I think that is, in every single one of my microphone review videos now, I include a comparison to 5 to 10 to 15 microphones, and that kind of fills that niche. It fills the Versus series hole. So I don't have this burning desire, talking about filling holes and burning desire. Why am I wording things this way? Do I like microphones too much? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't feel as much need to make standalone independent versus series. I should still probably do them because they are more complete. They also include comparisons on electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and singing, and all of the background noise tests as well. So they do still have value, but including all of those comparisons in my videos really removed the desire to make those. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about what I failed at in 2021. First off, I was banned on YouTube. I was banned. I've made a bunch of videos about this. I made a podcast episode about it. I made a video on my second channel about it. We don't need to talk too much about it. I discussed the realization that I'm okay with it if it ever were to come to that. And the second thing that I failed at is I didn't hit all the numbers that I set for myself. And I am perfectly fine with that. I am perfectly fine that I didn't hit these arbitrary numbers that I set for myself because I was still probably too prolific with my releases this year. I put out 176 videos in 2021. Let me repeat that for you. 176 videos over the last year. That's a lot of content. That is too much content, one might say. Too much Imagine if I put all that time and effort into just one channel. And just published 52 videos. That's it. Didn't spend time making 176 videos, just 52 videos. These would be the greatest microphone reviews ever made. But I need to stay interested in making videos, so I do a bunch of different stuff. Where were these videos published? 52 videos on Podcastage, so I hit that number. Heck yeah. 36 videos on Podcastage 2, which I had zero plans for, zero criteria or quota set for that channel. 36 videos that I was not planning on making. 42 videos on this channel, 42 podcasts. So I missed 8 weeks. What are you going to do? It's a hobby. It's a habby. Why did I pronounce it with an A? It's a habby podcast. I don't do this for money. I don't make enough money to justify spending 6 to 8 hours every Sunday making one of these. I do it because it's fun, and I have nothing better to do with my time. I did 26 videos on the Watch channel, Watchcastage, 2 videos on Geeks Rising, 14 videos on Bandrew Scott, and 4 videos on Bandrew Plays. Now, let's look at the Podcastage videos very quickly. We'll look at the breakdown of them to see if I hit the numbers that I set. 4 tube mic reviews, I got that. 5 interface reviews, so I beat that by 1. 1 educational video, I missed it by 3, but I'll come back to that. 2 mic roundup style videos, I'm lumping those in with Versus series, and as I said, I think almost every mic review almost should classify as a Versus series because I include so many comparisons. So I didn't hit that quota, and then I did 1 preamp review. I did not hit the 2. Now, as far as the educational videos, the reason I'm still going to give myself credit for that is I published 36 videos on Podcastage 2. A lot of them were educational content. A lot of them, hindsight 2020, all of these should have been on my main channel. Maybe not all of them. A lot of them should have been on my main channel. But I definitely hit at least 4 educational videos. Probably a lot more. Probably 20 educational videos. So that is the breakdown of the content that I published. And I think that is the only place that I published content. I didn't do anything else. I didn't do any audio-only stuff or anything. Okay. Now let me share my favorite videos that I published over 2021. This will be a good recap if you don't care about any of the other videos that I've made. If you just want 6 videos to watch to encapsulate the entirety of last year, these are the 6 to watch. Okay, first up on Podcastage, the Neumann U67 review. It has to be that. That is a mic, that's a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. That is something I will never be able to do again, which is why I did it. I had a really amazing couple of months, and I decided I'm never going to earn this much money again. I'm going to invest as much as I can back into the channel. And that led to me buying the U67 so I can make a review and share all of it with the internet. And hopefully people enjoyed it and will live a little bit vicariously through that review. I know I feel extremely fortunate to be able to have funded that. That was really a ton of fun and quite a milestone. I know I've said this in the past when I did the TLM 103, the U87, and with the U67. The U67 likely will be the most expensive microphone that I ever review on my channel, because I don't foresee ever having ad rates like I did before, ever having as many people watching my videos as I did before, and ever being able to justify spending more than $7,000 on a microphone for a video that I will never earn that much money back. Okay, Podcastage 2, running out of time on that camera. I made a video about proper OBS settings for your microphone to avoid clipping and distorting, because that is one of the most annoying things. Set up your microphone properly. In 2020, I actually selected a podcast episode where I shared these settings, but I condensed it down to 3 minutes, I think, and published that video on Podcastage 2. Again, absolutely should have been on my main channel because a lot of people need to see that, but it is where it is and nothing we can do about it now. I'll need to find a way to make it a new video and then I can publish it on the main channel by maybe adding additional plugins in there to make it the ultimate OBS microphone channel strip setup, blah, 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 blah. Something like that. Then we have the Bandrew Says podcast, this channel. My favorite video of the last year, probably the episode SM7B is dead. Not. And the reason why I'm selecting that, it has nothing to do with the content, or at least the topic discussed there. It has to do with the type of content it is, where it's not confrontational, but it's disagreeing with somebody and sharing that with that individual. And the reason why I'm selecting that is I'm incredibly proud that Harris saw it and he said, this is how you disagree with somebody. It wasn't contentious. It wasn't overly contentious. It wasn't mean-spirited. It was very kind. Would that be the proper word? It was very civil. It was a civil way of disagreeing. And in a social media environment where it's very rare to come across any kind of civil disagreements, I'm proud that I was able to publish something where the person I was disagreeing with was able to watch it and say, okay, they disagree with me. They disagreed with me in a very nice way. Think what you like. And I think the world needs a little bit more of that. So I'm proud that I could have added a little bit to that idea. Next up, we have the Watchcastage channel, and my favorite video that I published there was why I stopped wearing a smartwatch. If you don't know, I stopped wearing a smartwatch back in 2020, I think it was, and I didn't wear that watch for about 2 years. No, a year and a half. And then I put it on after I made that video because I wanted to stop carrying a phone in my pocket while I go for walks. So now I only wear it on my wrist while I'm walking because then I can know exactly how far I walk and I don't have to have a phone in my pocket while I'm listening to podcasts. I can listen from my watch. How crazy is that, yo? But most of the time I'll stick to an analog watch because that's the way to go. Doesn't track me. No nanobots in my blood, baby. All right. And on the Bandrew Scott channel, there were very few videos here, 14 of them, and a lot of them were published at the beginning of the year because I bulk filmed reading through Grimm's fairy tales on different microphones and then just scheduled them out. But there's one that stuck out to me while looking through what I published. That would be reading the poem It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Winter. That's not right. Edgar Wright. He's the director, but we'll go with it. I'm sorry, Edgar, but it couldn't be done. That was a poem that was really helpful last year when I was really struggling with stress at work, mixed with the stress and anxiety caused by being locked inside, mixed with the fear caused by all the paranoia and fear caused by it was not a good time. And that poem was incredibly helpful for me. And I read it and shared it because it's public domain, and I hope some people enjoyed that one. But that's probably my favorite thing that I did on that channel. And the last channel, the Bandrew Plays channel, my music channel. What? All right. Why did I do that? I didn't have much to choose from here. I had 2 electric guitar covers where I have an underlying backing track, which is the actual music. And then I did 2 full arrangements and covers of songs. One by NoFX, Parents Just Don't Understand. What's the matter with parents these days? Parents Just Don't Understand is Will Smith. Yeah, I wish that NoFX did a cover of Will Smith. Fat Mike, if you listen to this podcast, please, for the love of the few things good in this world, do a cover of Parents Just Don't Understand. I triple dog dare you, coward. Fat Mike, get on it. But my favorite video that I published there was Dumpweed by Blink-182. Blink-182 was far too influential on me when I was growing up. I love that band so much. Enema of the State, I believe, is a nearly perfect album. As far as writing, as far as arrangement, as far as production, everything on it is so gosh darn good. One of my all-time favorites. And Dumpweed. I was testing out the Neumann TLM49. It's just acoustic and vocals, and that song translates extremely well to the acoustic guitar. I really enjoyed playing that one. That's what I picked. Okay, if you want to watch any of those, I'll link them in the episode notes, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put a couple of them in the cards because you can only put 5 cards in a video. All right, now let's get even more boring. We're getting into the weeds. Enunciate, Bandrew. All right, these are numbers. Gonna go through this quickly. Podcastage grew by 49,000 subscribers, gained 12 million views. The Bandrew Says podcast gained 2,021 subscribers. That is right. Can you believe that? In 2021, this channel gained 2,021 subscribers. What? Got 228,000 views. Watchcastage went from about 50 subscribers, exactly 50 subscribers, to 1,309. It's gaining 1,259. Gained all of my views, 169,000. 69, Lamau. And then we have all the Twitter BS, whatever. 400 for the personal and 1,000 for the podcast. Screw Twitter. Get off Twitter. It'll be good for you. All right. Now, content goals. It's boring just listing numbers. I want to make this many videos. I'll still do it because that's quantifiable. So next year we can look back and say, okay, did I hit these numbers that I set for myself? But the main thing that I want to do is what I discussed in a podcastage video that I published last week about my goals for the upcoming year. And that is to basically have more fun with my videos and be less rigid, because everything that I do is so structured on that channel. I just know, okay, do this test, do this test, do this test. You have 3 parts where you can express yourself. That's going to be when you throw the box, when you yell about stickers, and when you're 4 feet away from the microphone, you can add a funny effect. I need to get out of that entire system, that entire, I don't know how to word it, just crappy slump that I'm in, just doing the same 3 things express yourself here. And that's why I want to make 75 videos on Podcasters, because I want to do more videos on Fridays where I don't follow that structure at all. I just get wacky and weird. And I also want to bring back all the stupid costumes that I wore in 2019, where it was just going off the rails before the world took a complete dump all over everything and everybody became depressed and miserable, myself included. And then I just thought, nothing's funny anymore. Nothing's funny. Just review this stupid microphone. Hey, this is a microphone, okay? Guys, this is guys and girls and theys, thems. This is a microphone, okay? So I want to be more fun as I make everybody sad. Let's look at the other numbers, because that's not quantifiable, but keep your eyes open for me just being more me on camera. 45 episodes of the podcast. I'm giving myself a break. 26 videos on Watchcastage. I want to do them bi-weekly still, because I want that to remain fun. I'm currently in the process of trying to get that channel monetized, actually. That's something I should add here. I want to get Watchcastage monetized. I've been denied 3 times, 2 times, 3 times. They say I'm breaking one of their monetization policies, and the only thing I can think is they have an algorithm that looks at my videos, and up until now, it has just been an overhead shot with the white background with the watch in it. So they would analyze every frame and say, okay, well, 90% of the frame is identical. This is low quality, repetitive content. That's the only thing I can think of, because every video is different, discussing a different watch, saying different words. It's not just re-uploads. So that's a goal I have as well, 26 videos and get monetized. Then 4 videos on Geeks Rising. I just want to do quarterly favorite things. I think that will be more sustainable, because doing one every single month, I wasn't buying much over the last year to justify doing that. And I didn't think that it would be a fun video or a good video if every single time it was just, I like hanging out with my friends on Discord. And that's the entire video, because that's what it would have been for 12 months straight. My favorite thing is hanging out with friends on Discord and playing Minecraft with them. It's not a good video. So I'm giving myself quarterly favorite things videos on Geeks Rising. Then 12 videos on Bandrew Scott. I'm going to say do once per month, do a read. Maybe I'll try to finish up Grimm's Fairy Tales this year. Never read them before. I don't even know how many more there are to go. There's probably 75 or 100 more. There's a lot of fairy tales. And then 4 videos on Bandrew Plays. I already have 2 songs that I want to cover that I'm really excited about. One is another Blink-182 song off of Enema of the State. It's Going Away to College. And I'll tell you what, that's another song that translates really well to the acoustic. But gall darn it, they sing so high. They sing so high. I don't get how people sing that high. Doesn't make sense to me. And the second is the Ataris. San Dimas High School Football Rules. San Dimas High School Football Rules! What is that from? I know I've seen it. It's not O'Doyle Rules from that Adam Sandler movie. Billy Madison. That's not San Dimas High School. I can't think of what it's from. Let me know in the comments, because I'm just I've lost my mind and I don't know. Personal goals. This is just me personally. Last year I said I want to buy a house, and then the housing market lost his goddamn mind. I'm going to have to bleep that out. The housing market went absolutely insane. I saved up for a down payment, and then I realized, I don't have enough. Oh, the housing market's so expensive now. I don't have enough. F you, housing market. Eat my butt. Eat my butt. He's beating my butt. Stop beating my butt. Come down here, string bean. You fat piece of shit. I think that's the best whitest kids you know sketch. The Abraham Lincoln one. I'm going to have to bleep a lot of that because I don't like having swear words in here. Okay, personal goals. I don't know how I got on that tangent. First off, survive. That's still my main goal. Survive another year. I've kind of been in stasis mode the last 2 years, which is why my videos have become so samey on the Podcastage channel. I've struggled like hell to stay motivated, and it's just been, okay, you know what to do? Just publish the video. Just put in the work, get the video out. Wake up, go to your day job, pay the rent, pay the bills. You know what to do. Exist. Survive long enough to get through this insanity, long enough to get through this hell. Will we ever escape this hell? Does this tunnel ever end? You don't know. So my goal, it's not to have the best year ever, it's to survive. I'm swearing a lot. I apologize. Lots of edits, lots of bleeps. That's the goal 1. Second is read 12 books. You may be thinking, Bandrew, that's not a lot of books. That's right. I'm a slow reader, and I have a lot of other things on I still work 40 plus hours a week. I spend 20 plus hours on Podcastage. I spend 8 hours a week on this podcast. I spend probably 4 to 8 hours a week on the Watch channel. I don't have much time. So between that, my goal to watch a boatload of movies, which is the other goal, I want to read 12 books because over the last year, I needed escapism. I've talked about this nonstop, but I needed escapism, and the best escape that I found was books. Were books? The best escape I found were books. Was books. I don't know. English is hard. And that's why I want to read at least 12 books. And I do have a bunch of nonfiction books. That's not really good escapism. So currently I'm reading The Hobbit and a book about COVID. Of course. Why wouldn't I want to read something that makes me miserable and depressed? But it's good to have the information, right? So read 12 books, and then, as I said, watch a boatload of movies. Watch a ton of movies because I have a bookshelf full of probably 100 movies, probably more than that because some of them are box sets of 6 Paranormal Activity movies. All of the Freddy the 13th, Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street movies. All of the Police Academy movies. I need to work through all of them. So that's my goal this year. Try not to buy any movies and just work through all the movies that I have. Same with the books. Try not to buy any books. Work through all the books that I have on my bookshelf that I've bought over a couple of years and had the plan on reading but never read. That's it. Those are my personal goals. Survive, read 12 books, and watch a ton of movies. And on the note of watching a ton of movies, I want to occasionally bring back Movie of the Week. And the first one up, how fitting, the first movie of the week is Steven Spielberg's first movie. This is called Duel. D-U-E-L. And I'll tell you what, this is one tense movie. Good golly. I was watching this, and at 20 minutes, it felt as though it was the climax of the movie, and I thought there's no way they are going to be able to continue this for another hour and 10 minutes. I have no idea how this is not the peak of the film. And then there's an entire internal dialogue while sitting at a diner. When was it possible to make somebody just sitting there having internal dialogue tense? When did that become a possibility? And Steven Spielberg, gosh darn it, how did you do it? Very well done. If you don't, I didn't tell you anything about the movie. It's about a guy in a car driving to a meeting and he passes a semi-truck and then the semi-truck tries to kill him. You never see the villain. And it's kind of like Jaws in that regard. You never see the villain. You don't know who it is. And I think that's what's so effective about it. I was talking to somebody about this and sharing my thoughts about why I think this is bordering on a horror film. It's not a horror film. It's a thriller. It's an action thriller, whatever. It is not a horror film, but it could very easily be a horror film if there was a monster in it. Case in point, watch Duel and then go watch Jeepers Creepers. It's the exact same premise, except in Jeepers Creepers, when they get caught, they're thrown in a well, and then they're hung up on the walls. And Jeepers Creepers has Justin Long, so +1 Jeepers Creepers, because Justin Long is amazing. The reason I ended up with this movie, though, is I was discussing with somebody, movies that have really good sound design, where they focus on vehicles. And the two films that came up were Bullet and Duel. I watched Bullet last year, and that's a good one. And then this one, there is very minimal dialogue. It is all just listen to the rumble of the engines of the semi and the car. That's my thoughts on it. Those are my thoughts on it. It is high intensity stuff. If you like cars, if you like the sound of cars, or semis rather, you will enjoy this. And if you have high blood pressure, maybe avoid it, because it is that tense. Really well done, and it's very understandable why Steven Spielberg has had such an incredible career, because as a first film, stunning stuff. Duel, Steven Spielberg's first film, 1971. There you go. That's the first movie of the week, and that's wrapping up for this episode. Full disclosure, this is the second time I've recorded this, because the first time I did not have any of those takeaways, and I realized how boring and bland and dry it was. Here are the numbers I set for myself. Did I hit those numbers? No, I did not. I did not hit those numbers. What's the next number? I did not hit that number. Next number. I did hit that number. Nobody wants to listen to that. Here are some takeaways from the last year. Much more interesting, in my opinion. At least I hope. If not, let me know. Let me know if this was uninteresting to you. And that's it. I appreciate you so much for an amazing 2021, even though 2021 kind of sucked a big bag of dongs. But as far as the support, as far as the community around this channel and Podcastage and the Discord, an amazing year hanging out with amazing people, talking back and forth with you, having civil discourses, just a beautiful year. In a very unbeautiful environment, which makes it even more beautiful. Isn't that how it goes? Just a rose in the middle of a desert. Oh, the rose is so pretty. Sierra, not a Sierra, a mirage. That's not it. I can't think of the word. The thing an oasis in the middle of a desert. That's what this community has been for me, an oasis in the middle of a desert, and then outside of the desert is devils just ready to murder everybody. So thank you. I appreciate you very much. I hope you have an amazing upcoming year. I hope you'll stick with me over the upcoming year, and I hope you have an amazing Saturday. This is Sunday. I hope you have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you, and I will share a lot more information about copyright, or at least the bans that occurred, the suspensions that occurred. Can you believe I'm going to stream entire episodes of a television series? What? How did you think that was okay? Y'all are smarter than that. Y'all are smarter than that. You know. You must have known that they were going to strike you. Come on. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you next week. I love you. Bye-bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.